right, guys, welcome. This is my beautiful family. I'm Nikki, it's my sister Joy, and this is my mom. And she had an announcement for us where she had a brand new baby that she's birthed, okay? And it is her book. /journal, Proverbs for single moms, 100 ways to get and stay happy along the way. So we're really excited about that. We are launching it. It's dope. And I mean, I think this is going to be a really excellent book just because my mom has really done a great job with raising us. If I do say so myself. A childhood that we'll talk about. We're going to ask my mom some questions and things like that. But, you know, everybody has some things that they go through. And despite the odds and trauma and things that people go through, she really found a way to be able to allow us to be self-adjusted and happy and successful and all those different things where you wouldn't be able to tell, you know, the things that we possibly went through as we grew up. And so I want my mom to kind of, I think she's a perfect candidate. I think sometimes if you're going to listen to somebody and be mentored by somebody, you have to look and see if they're qualified to teach you the things that they're teaching you, correct? So, you know, I think she's a mom of moms, and I can't wait to take some of these things when I have my own little baby, and so does Joy as well. But that's going to be a couple years. Okay. So let's kick off the questions.
All right, so we would like to know, and I believe everyone would want to know, how was it raising kids in the 90s and the 80s versus now? You know, do you think that the same issues or same problems that we dealt with are the same for single moms today? Like, just shining light on your overall experience.
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I think that there's nothing new under the sun. So it's the same issues that parents have with the kids and kids have with the parents. But of course, the difference is the age we live in is super fast, quick in a hurry. And social media is on the rise now. And
We didn't have Instagram.
We didn't have Instagram. We had
Game Boy. That's about it.
We had Game Boy. We had one of those old computers that the school was renovating their computer system, and so we got one of those big, chunky computers, and we didn't have internet, but we had games on it, and I think Word. So, you know, the issues were still the same because nothing ever changes.
So issues like what exactly? Like what issues do you think are similar?
Well, for example, peer pressure and the single mom saying, you can't do that because in my house, we're not going to do that. You know, if everybody else is doing it, doesn't mean you're going to have to, that you're going to do it and things like that. So peer pressure, lack of money, lack of resources as a single parent, the dating question with kids, things like that.
So dating, like when we got to the age of dating?
That too, both of them. Both of them, yeah.
We're still not allowed to date, y'all, at 34 and 30.
They're kidding.
Okay, good. What are some things that you personally learned along the way being a single mom, like trial and error, that you would want to share with other single moms so they can avoid some pitfalls?
Yeah, I would say in terms of finding things for you guys to do, you don't try to keep up with what other people are doing. Everybody has different budgets. I found that finding the free little gifts, you know, the freebies. One of them was a wonderful arts program in Baltimore City. And come to find out that Jada Pinkett herself came out of that same program, and that was a free program. And you guys remember, it was violin, it was
ballet
and piano and everything.
So how did you afford those things? Because a lot of single moms would say, you know, I'm just, you know, it's just one income that's contributing to myself and my kids. And so how did you find those free things? How were you getting those resources? How could you really, how did you prioritize those things and still keep the lights on and the heat and the food in our mouth, books and all those different things?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it is networking. So now you have social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, whatever, That's like the networking mechanism.
Mhm.
But I really prefer, I mean, that's good, but I really do prefer the mouth-to-mouth communication,
Mhm.
like going to school and talking with you all's friends' parents.
Oh yeah.
Not really the teachers, but your friends' parents. And hey, what are you guys doing this summer? And try this program out in Baltimore City. Oh, the library's sponsoring this. So was that type of communicating with other parents and grandparents where you got some good ideas? And they were people that you knew personally.
Yeah, that's good. Because I do remember some of our fondest memories, was being in ballet and having recitals and being able to go to like writing camp and science camp and things like that. And we got a chance to get outside of just like our environment in our neighborhood and be able to see how other people lived and be able to see how, just different diversity, I think. Just not just people that look like me, but artsy people and science geeks and, just different types of people. And so it really prepared us, I think, for the world. I can speak for myself. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, I think that you were very intentional about involving us into just different activities so we can figure out our own selves, and not pushing things on us, just to see what we like. Yeah. And I feel like that really broadened our horizon, broadened our thinking. I really appreciate you for that. So we definitely had a good childhood. But talking about just involving your kids and making sure they're not just being idle and things like that, I want to talk about like career paths. Like how did you as a single mom direct us into a career path without kind of forcing us into a certain career? Or if you did force us, like what did you learn? What did you learn from that?
You know what? The main thing I want to pivot and answer your question is that the dating issue has a lot to do with your focus as a single parent. Are you focused on that male figure in your life? Or are you focused on your kids and just getting them on the right path, or both? It's an individual choice that if you do both, it's juggling and making sure that the focus is always going to be first and foremost on the kids. Of course, I think most moms do that. But I would say I probably did force Nikki, because Nikki's 4 years older than you. So I didn't learn this till later, but I sent Nikki to engineering high school all 4 years, and then she went to 3 years of engineering college. And in the third year, she called me and she said, as you guys know, Mom, I hope I don't hurt your feelings, but I'm not going to continue with engineering.
Was that how I said it? So I hate it. It's horrible. I don't do it anymore.
Do you really mind? I said, oh, I'm so sorry, because I'm thinking as a parent, 8 years before, whatever, oh wow, wouldn't that be great? She's good at math and science, so wouldn't it be great if she was engineering, because her school was all boys at one time. It was all boys at one time, and then they allowed girls to get in there. And I said, I thought that would be a good thing, but I didn't consider what she may have liked. And she was going along with me, until the third year. She said, Mom, I'm going to change it. And I said, okay, I'm so sorry, whatever makes you happy. What are you going to change it to? And she changed it to marketing and business. And the rest is it.
So do you have any regrets with that? Because for those that don't know, I wanted to go into an arts high school. I was already going to Twigs, which was Baltimore School for the Arts, for like ballet and things like that. And I was considering possibly going there for high school, for 9th grade. And I know it was from what I perceive now, out of love. But can you talk about maybe, do you think that was a good decision? Do you think that, would you tell parents to kind of guide their kids and tell them what things they should and should not do? Or what do you think is the best now in hindsight? Because I wanted to do that, and then you sent me, like you said, to an engineering high school because it's just, more lucrative to be in the math and science field. And so I understand the reason now behind it, but what do you think in hindsight?
Hindsight, I probably would have done the same thing. Because from what you tell me, your field now, what you're doing very well in, it helped give you some critical thinking and some logical thinking for what you're doing now. Mm-hmm. So in hindsight, now with Joy, I guess I learned from you along the way. It's like, maybe I should, because with the first child, you may be a little bit more strict. And then as the children come along, you're a little bit more lenient. So with you, I was gearing you in the same path because you were also good in math and science. But I was
I just didn't like it. I was good in science. She didn't like math. But science I was really good in. You directed me.
I did direct you. I did say, why don't you consider being a pediatrician or some type of doctor, or I guess parents always want their kids to be doctor, lawyer, teacher. Whatever the reason is that we were taught that to go towards those fields. But it's okay. Whatever field. But what I've learned is whatever field, just make sure the child is happy.
That's it.
Yeah, happy. You have to be happy as well as productive, as well as be able to take care of yourself. That's the main thing.
And I can say, I guess learning from Nicole's experience as well, that when I did go to high school, I went to a rival high school of Nicole's that focused on, reading and reading and literature. And I'm more in that avenue. And then when I went to college, I really just liked how the human mind worked. And I went into psychology, and she fully supported me in that. So I guess that's the difference, where good results both ways, but one being more supportive of what I'm thinking rather than putting what you think Nicole's good at, which she was good at both either way. So
yeah. And it worked out. That's what it is. She supported me when I did want to change to business, and now I own several multi-7-figure businesses, and so it works out. Everything works out the way that it's supposed to. But I think, if I were really strong-held, Mom, this is my passion, I want to be a dancer, I think she really would have supported me. But it was just, I was there and my friends were there, so it was I want to go here. It wasn't really that I was pushing really hard to go there. So I think because I could have gone either way, she was like, look, you're going to go to the math and science. It's the top number one high school in Baltimore, okay? All right. Number one Baltimore.
Natural.
Yeah, it is. And that's what we did. And so it helped me really have a network and allow me to get into college and kind of move in that field and so on and so forth.
But I would say that whatever field kids want to go into, math, science, the arts, visual arts, ballet, whatever, Jada Pickett's a prime example.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want to do. Just believe it. Have that single mom right there behind you. And but the book really is talking about focusing on biblical principles. I have to say, biblical principles to raise your kids, and staying away from those things that are kind of traps that would get your focus off of the kids, because you only have one time to do it. You only one time to do it. So.
Okay, so going towards that, focusing on your kids, you have one time to do it. They're like sponges that soak up everything. Let's talk about the real reason about dating. You talk a little bit about this in the book about, there's different sayings, 101 sayings in the book, Proverbs, your own sayings, and a portion of the book is about dating. How do you feel about your dating life as a single mom when you were growing up? What were things that you wanted to avoid and showing us, and what things that did you want us to see?
Right.
And also keeping in mind people that are looking to possibly get into a relationship and have a husband again. So what would you say to someone that is open to love and maybe wants to have a father figure around their children, but and also having to date, knowing that you have to date to be able to do that?
Yes. Well, I think it's of course an individual decision how each single mom handles herself with her children. But for me personally, what the route that I chose was, I just kind of put myself on hold for 13 years until you guys were. I said to myself, okay, for me, just a personal decision, no right or wrong. But for me, I'm just gonna not date until the last one is off to college or off to technical school or off to whatever they're going to be doing on their own, and then I'll start dating. And I did that. I just kept myself occupied the whole time. There were maybe 2 friends.
Because I was about to say, we met a suitor or two, so
barely. It was very much out the house. You kind of saw them. So
how did you do that to introduce us to them? How would you, so you're saying basically you want to mainly focus on your children, that's the main priority. But when you introduce a man in, then how would you recommend?
Well, I think the main thing is that, and of course a lot of single parents, they already get this, and that is not to bring your children around the friends, the male friends, because what if it doesn't work out? Then the child is disappointed. It's especially if they're younger, but even teenagers, they got attached to the person. Now, for some reason, it didn't work out, and then when you go to the next person, that may not work out. And so you don't want to have a revolving door.
Yeah, because you have teenagers, people that are parents of teenagers that are going through all these things, sneaking out, sneaking people in, taking things. So it was very frustrating.
About the boys come in, didn't you?
Yeah, you definitely did.
I did? I forgot that. Maybe I just
blocked it out. Okay. So that never happened. Okay. that time period, and tell us a little bit about that. How long was that time period? What was your perspective? Because I felt as though I felt like I was in a very strict household and I was just rebelling because you didn't really allow us to go over friends' houses that had men in the household, and it was all good reason. I understand why now, but back then if I wanted to go to a slumber party, if I wanted to go to a skate rink, or if I wanted to go out to the kiddie clubs, it was just like, no. Okay, Disney movie and VeggieTales, you gotta watch that and be happy.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I would say that we single at that time, have to be careful about the do's and the don'ts, because that could cause the child to rebel even more depending on the personality. So I would say I tried to have a balance between no, you can't go see R-rated movies at 12, you know, but
Let's do it at 17.
or when you were away at college at 17.
No, 17 when I graduated from high school.
Yeah.
I was in college at 17.
Yeah, me too, but we were still in high school.
I never liked it because I didn't want them to be exposed, but of course probably kids were already exposed.
Yeah.
to things
And
that they
people
didn't
to
know
raise us
about.
in a godly way, so watching people have sex and kill each other is
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Yeah. But I would say balance it, and you can't do that, but it's what you can do. The houses that you went to for sleepovers, I was very cautious about that. I didn't know who was in the houses, who was going to be in the houses, things like that. So I would say, don't say no, without offering some things where the child can feel as though they have some freedom. Because a lot of kids go the opposite direction, far out there, and it's hard to bring them back because of the so many no's.
That's true. And I feel like, yes, I was more agreeable and things like that, because I learned after I saw Nicole get beat, I was like, I don't think I want that life.
That's not saying a beat.
It's just a nice little tap. Like
With Boris Virtual Brunch.
Well, it's just a strong tap. But so when I was in high school, I think what I learned was that your way of parenting, like Nicole was, we were two different personality types. It worked with me per se. Like, so maybe with Nicole, I know you kind of learned with me, like, okay, let's not say no all the time. Let me provide you with other things. So it was actually better that way. Like, you allowed me to go to a party in Atlanta, a Diddy's party, and I appreciated that. He wasn't there, but it was at his mansion, and I just couldn't believe she let me go.
She was going to a friend's house.
No, I swear to God, she let me go.
How old were you then?
I was like 17 almost. That's my senior year.
Okay, so go ahead.
Oh my gosh, Mom, we went. You let me go. I would have never just snuck out. So yeah, you let me go.
So it was P. Diddy's?
Yeah, it wasn't. P. Diddy wasn't there, but it was his house. It was like his mansion, empty, rented. Somebody rented his mansion.
I don't remember that, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a whole party bus and everything. It's great. So anyways, but I guess since you put discipline on me already, and I've shown and I kind of proved myself that, like, okay, she always gives me other things to do and other fun things to do. She felt comfortable enough to let me go to that party because she knew that my decision-making skills, she trusted my decision-making skills because she instilled those things in me.
And because you proved it, probably.
And I proved it. So I think each child is different. So sometimes you do need to tighten the reins, and sometimes you can loosen the reins. And I think
loosened it for
loosened it for me. So
and tightened it for me because every time she gave me a chance to prove myself, I would take an inch and not come home, or whatever it was, I would take, so I wouldn't show that I was trustworthy. And so Julia is very right, and I think that's what we're echoing from my mom, is that you have to treat each child differently. And so what one child may need, which is more discipline and more kind of tighten it up a little bit, another child you may be able to let go once they prove themselves. And honestly, just communicating that, because I feel like maybe if I understood, and you might have said this, but I just wasn't able to hear it in the way you were telling me, was that, Nicole, if you wash the dishes today and prove yourself responsible for your chores, I'll let you out tomorrow, or you can go out to the movies or do something you want tomorrow. But I felt like for me, the man's foot was just on my neck the whole time, and that it was just always do this. Yeah. And so I think maybe it's just, that's a really great lesson that you learned and that you are teaching people through this book as well.
You have a couple of stories in the book that may add some light, but you're right, and you really do have to kind of maneuver and navigate your way through the different children's personalities. So just with you two, that was navigation. So I can imagine what it would be with 3 or more.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, I gotta say, you gotta stay on course with the Word of God. It does not fail. And when it all comes out, when it all is put together, when you're 18 and older, you can see the fruit, whatever the fruit is. Whatever the fruit is. Whatever the fruit is, you'll see the fruit, and then you can learn and you can help other people in terms of they don't have to go through the same things, and they can learn and adjust, pivot and adapt.
Yeah, and I remember you just praying over us a lot too.
Yeah.
When we were really bad, or even when we were good, but
It's
like
not really bad though.
Well, okay. Well, when we're having our rebellious,
Yeah, we both had moments.
yeah, when we had our moments of being rebellious, I do remember you like just laying hands and praying and letting God kind of come in. And sometimes that would come in different ways, where we would meet a friend or somebody who would at church, like God kind of interjected Himself in different ways. Where it
And
wasn't
we can
just-
receive it from them.
We can receive it,
Yes,
because you can always hear something more from a godmama or a friend than your mom. Your mom can say the same thing as somebody else, but you will hear it differently from someone else. So that might be another tip too for parents, right? Like get somebody else to come in, and then also pray
and communicate with your children. Yeah.
So to wrap up, I just wanted to ask, tell us a little bit about what people will find in this book, what your qualifications are other than being a mom to be able to like really give great advice in this.
Well, I think that having a psychology background helps, behavioral science to be exact. But that does help, but I think the greatest thing is really just life experiences. You don't have to have a master's in anything or even a college degree to just, your life experiences will teach you a lot. And the Word of God. And the Word of God. There still are mamas in the church. If you can't do it all, there's a mama in the church still that can help. Because like you said, children don't always listen to the mom. But it could be the play aunt in the church, or a play aunt that's a friend of mine or something that you listen to, like I'd be saying the same thing as them, but you just have your kids are just like that. So it's not so much the qualifications, although that kind of helped, but it's more the life experiences and sharing and networking mouth to mouth. Not so much on social media because you don't really know those people, but that's good too. But I mean, just personal communication, one-on-one communication. So that's that. And then what was the other question?
What will people find in this book?
Yes. Well, there's a couple of stories that I share in there. And I think I talk about relationships and miracles and all those things, because when you depend on the Word of God, which I made my own Proverbs, but I depended on the Word as a backdrop. When you depend on that Word of God, it will not fail. It can't fail, because God cannot fail. So I would say that. I would say the background, bouncing things off of people who also have the same views, views in terms of how they raise their children as you.
And one thing I love about the book too is that it gives you space to reflect on each proverb. That like your sayings, you can reflect on them and then write down what you're feeling throughout this, the book and the stories. So.
Really good. So is that how you would tell people to go through it? What's the best way that you would recommend?
I do have it in the beginning of the book, I think, but really just read it, write down immediately what your thoughts are, your reflections on it, what you would change as a parent based on the Proverbs, and what you would keep the same. So keep what's good and just adapt and change the other things. But reflection is really good. You can process things through the Word of God. I think it's the best way to process.
Yeah, I just happened to go to one of the Proverbs in here. And I think these are things that can help when you're going through really hard times. So you might not necessarily have to go in order, but I see one right here that says, what does a good child bring to the mother? More good things than bad. And so I can imagine somebody going through even a new mom that's stressed out because she's sleep deprived, or, wondering what's happening, with her baby or whatever, just stresses of life. And she thinks about, let me think about all of the people that couldn't have children, or, that I can continue to grow a legacy through this person. I can take all of the things that I've self-healed in myself and make sure that I don't pass on that same trauma. Like, it's a lot of things that you can meditate on. And because it's easy to, in anything in life, to focus on the bad, but whatever you focus on expands. So if you focus on how much this kid is irritating me, how bad this is, how she acting like a father, all this stuff, then that's what you're going to continue to see, and that's what you're going to make your child manifest. You're almost speaking it into existence. But if you speak, you're so smart. Because that's something that you did a really great job in, and it just came to me. I think Joy and I have such good self-esteem, and why we didn't let anybody, like, if you started being our friend, dating us, whatever, like, we hold you to a certain level, and like, you have to meet that level where you're not going to be in our life.
We have a very healthy, what's it called? Self-image. So you really did instill that in us, and we really do appreciate that. But that's like the biggest thing that I even take away from what you put in this book. Yeah. And even just with that proverb, it can hit on so many levels if you have a teenager, if you have a newborn, anything. Yeah. So a lot of these proverbs, it doesn't matter where you are in your parenting stage, it really does help reflect and think about the same. So,
So thank you
I hope it's helpful.
us. And honestly, I really feel like I can do anything. There's nothing that I start in life that I don't think that I can do. I've never had a lasting negative self-talk where I'm like, oh, can I do this? Like, when people say stuff like that, I can't empathize because I don't have that part. Like, I haven't had to deal with, oh, am I good enough, or am I smart enough, or any of that, because you always told us how genius we were, how brilliant. You told me the story, like, Nikki, you made, Ernie when you were 2 out of Play-Doh, and like, you really believed it. Yeah, you really believed it when you told us that you thought we were geniuses. So it wasn't just you saying, oh, you're smart, oh, you're funny. It was like, you told us and like proved us why you believed it. And so we believed it too. We're like, yeah, I am a genius. I am smart, like, I'm funny, or whatever it is. So.
But you know what? Even if a child is not a genius or smart or whatever, and they probably are smart, but let's say, for example, they may be more artistic more than math and science. That's fine. That's fine. Look at all the actresses and actors that are artsy. So it's just saying those things and believing those things that your child is able to accomplish those things. They are able to be smart and a genius in their right. Whatever it is that they flourish in.
Find the good things and speak them up.
Yes.
That's good.
Well, we're super excited because today we are launching Proverbs for Single Moms. It is available right now after you watch this video. Mom, thank you so much for being here with us and, going through being a mom, going through all of our life experiences with you, and, being very vulnerable with us as well. So do you have anything else you want to say, Mom?
Anyone is purchasing the book, do it today, because it really does help.
Yes, we have a goal. We have a goal to be a top seller.
We want to be number one.
Yeah, we want to help a lot of people. We want to impact a lot of people. I can vouch for Mom because I know her, and so I know her heart. I know that the things that she talks about, she actually did, and it worked. And so I want this to reach 1,000 people today. 1,000 people, and that'll be proven. Only way we'll be able to know that is by it hitting a certain level on Amazon, so they can reach more people outside this network. And so, tell a mom, whether they're single or not. These are things that you can use whether you're single. Would you say that? I know it's written for single moms, but like the Proverbs that I just read, I was like, that's for anybody.
Sure. Anybody who has children, really, or wants to have children.
So I'm really excited about this, guys. Let's go buy it, and thank you so much for having this. I think we should have maybe something like this going forward with single moms, like having some types of like live Q&As, and people can ask questions, and we just get really real. Get excited, Mom. We're proud of you. Love you.